Hey, what's up, y'all? This your boy, So No Worries. Thank y'all for tuning in. I've got a really dope video for y'all today. A banger. Because we have to talk about this whole Issa Rae conversation with Kevin Hart. Because it features an imposter syndrome as the topic. And I think it's very important. And this impacts all races, all color. Okay? So everybody who this affects, I think this is an important topic and video to watch. My homeboy Joshua David Mardis, amazing brand and strategy storyteller, wrote a phenomenal post and it went viral, right? This is LinkedIn viral right here. And so he put out a banger. So without further ado, I want to cut to the video because I think this is so important that we break this down and we talk about this.
You know what I've realized, and this is, I forget who I have access to. Even talking to you sometimes, I'm like,
I've gotten mad at you before.
I know, because I don't like to ask people for help, and everybody's busy. You're doing 70 million things.
That's like the most important thing that I feel people don't tap into.
But who do you tap into?
Everybody.
No, I don't believe it.
I'm 1,000% telling you the truth. Everybody.
That you literally ask someone, hey, what do I do for advice?
Everybody.
But not everybody. Do you, for people who are very busy?
Everybody.
All right, fine. All right.
There is not one person that will not take your call when you're looking for. No, it's not. You think that, and that's what the problem is. Like people are in their own way because you have the assumption that you're going to think, and I don't want you to think because it's all based off of a thought. Like you're creating a reaction that hasn't even been had. So 9 times out of 10, if you really do reach out, you'll be surprised at how many people go, "Hey, oh my God, yo, it's crazy that you called me. I'm a big fan. I just want to say I love the work that you're doing. What's up? What's going on?" Like there's a synergy that's lost because so many people stop networking. So many people stop.
Because you don't know if people are genuine either. I mean, you've extended that. Like, credit to you. Like, even in talking to you, you've just been like, hit me. And I'm like, this nigga busy. He lying.
You told me one time. No, Kev, you told me one time. You said, I hit you. And you ain't.
Man, that was a dope video. That was a really dope video because, like I said, I think it encapsulates the issue that's going on with people who don't feel comfortable reaching out for help. No matter what industry you're in, no matter who you are, oftentimes people feel like if I reach out to so-and-so, they're not going to pick up the phone. They're not going to respond back to my text messages, so on and so forth. It makes you feel like you're someone who has to do everything by themselves. And from Issa Rae's standpoint, that's true. So what Joshua said really wraps up maybe Issa's perspective that maybe I wish Kevin Hart maybe had realized and gotten the chance to acknowledge. Not that anything he said was wrong at all, but I think it's important to take a look at Issa's side and why she might not feel comfortable reaching out. So here's what Joshua has to say. So here's what I have to say about Issa Rae and Kevin Hart's conversation about asking for help, because it's out there. I am Issa and Issa is me. We're all of us, most of us are like Issa, right? The underdog, the people who haven't just been given opportunities, who aren't like the funny guy like Kevin Hart, the black funny guy like Kevin Hart, and he talks about this. So I think both sides can be true at the same time. Kevin is coming from a place from a place where he's always been the way he is, not afraid to ask, not afraid to reach out, not afraid to be bold, very much like Keke Palmer asking for a job on national television. It works for them. They ask, and more than often, they got a yes, or they get a yes. But people really need to understand that Issa Rae comes from a different experience. She started as the underdog. She was the 2-person view count girl. A lot of people on YouTube, 2 view count, 10 view count. That's it, right? So Issa Rae was the 2 view count girl, overlooked, underestimated until she got a deal. Insecure became a cultural phenomenon, but now she's locked in an opportunity with HBO. She can't just move how she wants to move. So she's got contractual obligations. She's got to adhere to policies, procedures, all different type of things that can be tied into litigation if it happens, that she has to adhere to with HBO. So her hands are kind of tied. And Joshua says she can't just move how she wants. Their new leader has old girl shelved to a multi-million-dollar deal for God knows how long. So essentially, HBO essentially said, hey, we got Issa Rae on the contract, kind of like a lot of the music artists we see out there who are under contract with these major recording labels and can't put out no music. They got talent, they got aura, they got, motion, they got everything that you would hope a rising or emerging artist would have, but they're shackled up. All right, so that's Issa's case in there. So basically, the new leader from HBO, the new CEO, basically is like, yeah, we're going to keep Issa Rae shelved. And they only want to greenlight content with Issa in it because it'll get views. But Issa does not want to be on camera. She said that several times. This is true. Issa Rae wants to work behind the scenes. She wants to be a creative. She wants to be a producer. She does not want to be an actress all up in the camera, like Diddy, all up in the camera, dancing and stuff like that. Take that. Issa Rae wants to give that opportunity to people who really want to be actresses or actors, right? And so she said that several times. Let's keep going. Her IP tied up, her options limited. In a way, she's in this strange film and TV jail. Oh my gosh, I can relate. As a film director, I can relate to being in some sort of purgatory status, some sort of locked up status. I'm locked up. You won't let me out. You won't let me out. All right. So she's in TV jail with all the visibility in the world, but not as much freedom as people assume. See, a lot of people don't know. As a film director, I'll be knowing what goes on behind the scenes, and it's a lot of red tape. So much red tape. Oh my gosh. So she was lucky enough, Joshua was lucky enough to work with Issa once. And he said, I've also seen her speak at Afrotech. And from what I've observed, there's a real imposter syndrome she still carries. Not because she's not successful, but because as a black woman, one who proudly centers black stories, she knows there's a different weight she carries. Oh my gosh, that's so true, because when you're dealing with cultural impact, it's different than this broad spectrum. Everybody is included in the conversation. Everybody can come to the cookout type branding. That's not Issa Rae. And she feels the weight of having to be particular and be precise in articulating her culture, her essence of her being a creative is centered around her being a black woman who, started as an awkwardly black girl, awkwardly black woman. So Joshua says there's a different expectation placed on her. There's discomfort from a white industry, folks who don't know what to do with someone who won't dilute their work for a broader appeal. That's so important. I don't care who you are. Even if you're white, you're not black, you're Asian, whatever. Sometimes when you go hard for your culture specifically, you scare off a lot of brands. You scare off a lot of partnerships because people basically want to build a big funnel around you. And when you segment yourself into focusing on your people, on the people who matter most to you, brands are like, that's not going to work. We don't like that, right? We want you to have a broader appeal so we can just our ads that we run around you or our promotion that we run around you will stick more if you give a broader appeal, right? And so Joshua says Kevin doesn't really have the same dynamic. So Kevin Hart doesn't really have the same dynamic. Kevin is for everybody. And that's no shade, which it isn't. That's just what his brand has always been. He's the funny, friendly black guy that everyone across every demographic can get behind. So everybody likes a short king or short guy who is funny, jovial, just happy to be around, good energy, just joking around. Everybody likes that type of black guy, non-threatening, not this overly masculine presence. He's just a good, funny kind of like Castanet. That's why Castanet and Kevin Hart work really well, like two peas in a pod, is because Castanet and Kevin Hart are kind of one and the same. Outside of, Castanet not being a comedian, he's essentially a comedian for streaming. He's a comedian for his target demographic, his generational Gen Z. So that's what Castanet is. And Kevin Hart is that for us as, millennials or people who are older, right? And so Issa throws black parties, curates black spaces, and doesn't apologize for it. So she's centering her experience around the people and culture that resonates most to her, right? So Joshua says, so yes, Kevin Hart might genuinely say, call me anytime. And he might mean it. But Issa is also telling the truth. In this business, Performative support is real. People do say, reach out anytime. And then when you do, radio silence. Or worse, they're too busy. Or they never follow through. I've experienced that a lot of times. Just as many of you have reached out to people, hey, what's up? Can we have a meeting? Can we talk? Can we sit down? Can we ideate? Can we just, pick each other's brains on a conversation that I think could be valuable for both of us? Sometimes you just hear crickets. You just hear crickets. Damn! And you like, damn, like what's going on? Right? So Issa's not lying. She's not jaded. She's not being, she's being honest and saying, I don't bother people because people are always busy. That's Issa's standpoint. And that's a very real, very human response when you've had doors slammed, calls unanswered, and momentum get blocked. Right? So again, both sides can be true. Kevin's right with his opinion, but so is Issa. Right? And so it's the power of yes. And it's the performative yes that blocks opportunities as well. Two truths coexisting in the same conversation. And he wanted to share this with us because he thought it was really important. And it was. It's got a lot of reactions, a lot of good stuff. People are in the comments really relating to this message. Performative support. Yeah. Let's do that with no action. Come on, all of us on YouTube who might be small creators, emerging creators, people who just started, people who are just trying to find their grounding. Come on, yo. Don't y'all relate to this? And so I think it's important that we have a conversation about this because it's paramount in terms of how people who have imposter syndrome, people who are multidisciplinary in terms of got a myriad of talents and skills, often are the people who are gatekept the most because sometimes in industries, especially in Hollywood, it's not about your talent. It's not about your talent. Even in the NBA and NFL, sometimes it's not about your talent. We've seen people who are very talented in all different industries, have the work ethic, have the mentality, have the capabilities, but they are gatekept because sometimes they bring along an energy that isn't welcome through the entire landscape of all demographics and all people can relate to this. They're specialized, right? Like Curry or Klay Thompson. Their specific thing is to shoot threes. They're specialists. And oftentimes people don't take in specialists because they feel like, hey, I can get more bang for my buck if I can get an all-around player or 3-and-D, someone who can shoot, pass the ball, play defense. Sometimes people are specialists in what they do. And so Joshua made a phenomenal post. Shouts out to him. Go follow him on LinkedIn. I'm going to show his profile again. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can connect with him. Joshua David Mardis. Appreciate you, Joshua, for this. And so, yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people have to understand is that, yes, you want to reach out and be, reaching out to all of your touch points, all the people who you can network with, all the people who basically have power or resources that you want to leverage. But it's the truth sometimes when those people are just capping. They just capping. It sounds good, but oftentimes if you're not on their level or above, people oftentimes, they try to lil son you. They try to put you on the JV squad. They don't want you to come up. They don't want you because they can see your skills. A lot of times people can see your skills, your talent, and your potential 10 miles away. And it might scare them because they're like, damn, I'm a good people person. I'm funny like Kevin Hart. I'm not all this, and I do this, all this. But maybe I don't have the same talent as Issa Rae as Kevin Hart came out outside of the he had an animation show that I think he's coming out with, Kev's Block or something like that. But Issa Rae and her show was a groundbreaking thing, It was a groundbreaking thing. I'm trying to think of what her show is. I know it's on the top of my head because I watched all of it. Insecure. Damn. Insecure was a phenomenal show, a groundbreaking show, a show that brought so much appeal to us in our culture. And we really appreciated that because it gave us insights to, the awkward black girl who's moving out to LA trying to find herself. It gave us an insight we had never, ever got before in television programming. And so she's forever goated. Issa's forever goated for Insecure. You can't take that away from her. But what's happened is that HBO doesn't want to center it around that experience. They want to manipulate her and make her malleable and put her in broader spectrums and basically have her try to create her own Sex in the City or her own broad spectrum TV show that she's featuring in order to bring in more ad dollars, bring in more audience, because we know a lot of non-black people probably weren't really watching Insecure. And so HBO is like, yes, this worked. It was successful, but we need to scale this. We need to grow this. We need to grow your brand. We need to grow your personal brand. And we can only do that if you become a more broader woman. And Issa Rae's like, that's just not my shtick. And a lot of us are like that. A lot of us don't want to TikTok dance. A lot of us don't want to be performative. A lot of us don't want to be fake. A lot of us just want to do what we know our God-given talents are. But we feel oftentimes that we're gatekept and people don't want to give us the opportunity to have the unmitigated gall to be ourselves. That's just what it is. And so I think Kevin's, points were valid. You should reach out to people. You should tap into your network. And I know Issa Rae has. This isn't about Issa Rae not tapping into her record. I just think that, like she said to Kevin, hey, I texted you, you ain't text back. If it was somebody else, you might have texted back. You ain't text me back. So what you want me to do with that information? Keep hitting you up like I'm begging and I'm Issa Rae? No, I'm just going to focus on what I can do for myself. And that underdog mentality is very important because it will get you through times where the people who are popular, popping, who already have access and cachet, often will not have those same skills if they were just granted to them. And it's not to say people like Kevin Hart didn't work hard as hell, didn't grind, didn't do what they were supposed to do, but there are certain different types of people who focus on specific type of niches or target audience that oftentimes it's harder for them to get through that glass ceiling because it's specific, it's targeted, it's not for everybody. And that's kind of like Issa Rae's thing. And I love her for that because I want her to stay true and genuine to herself. And so, yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on this. Honestly, I think we all should do better at supporting each other. Being a person who you feel like, hey, people can reach out to me. I have an open line to reach out to people in my network within my circle. I'm not afraid to help and assist because you too someday may want to reach out to those same people who you've helped or that same network that's assisted you in your career. You want to tap back in. But people on the other side, like Kevin's side, have to acknowledge that people like Issa Rae, a black woman, a creative producer in Hollywood, have a totally different experience than the funny, small black guy who's running around making jokes and making everybody laugh and making everybody comfortable in a room. And so we've seen the net of it. Kevin Hart has a successful career, very successful. He's goated as a comedian. We know that. But so is Issa Rae. Issa Rae is goated as a TV producer, as a creative, as someone who's put forth her time and energy to produce something for us in a culture that has been tantamount in terms of our, chances at being realized and seen as normal people, which is crazy in 2025. But that's just the state of affairs within America, within the global, diaspora. It's oftentimes very, very hard to reach that glass ceiling or break through that glass ceiling as a black creative. Even Ryan Coogler had so much pushback with putting out Sinners. I feel like Issa Rae and Ryan Coogler would be like really, really good partners because they probably have the same experience. A black film director. Oh, you're in Hollywood. Oh, you want to come up to Hollywood and make films about black culture and you want to make films about black strife and all the black. It's so unfortunate because these people have such beautiful stories that can resonate across all races and landscapes of people and demographics. And the fact that people don't want to see into the perspective of other people and their culture and their perspectives, it's the demise of our current culture right now. And so, it is what it is sometimes, but the most important thing is that we have to acknowledge both sides of people who are the underdogs, people who have imposter syndrome, who feel like, man, I've got all the talent, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not moving along nowhere. I'm not getting to where I want to be. I'm chained up. I'm shackled up. And, it's unfortunate. We've got to support each other better. And so I just want to bring y'all this video tonight. I appreciate y'all if y'all watched, up until this point. It really, really does help me out. Thank you to all the new subscribers on the channel. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all the engagement, all the views. It means a lot. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We'd love to have you. Our community is growing. I want to really, really help people in their entire, thought process around being a creative, about being just a person in general who's looking for growth, whether it's creative growth, personal growth, just better, chance of understanding, who you are and what you can bring to the table. So, hey, thank you again. This has been another banger video by Steven So No Worries. Peace.